Black men in particular, I see it a lot on social media. Not all, but some, they complain. And maybe I shouldn't use the word complain, but their observation is that there is this widespread attack on Black masculinity. From your position as someone who deals with young men and men all the time, what do you feel like is the state of Black masculinity right now?
Hmm. I used to have that perspective, when you would see the images and then, certain guys taking, you see the pictures, the movies,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
but when I had to study what was masculinity first, because I thought masculinity, the word itself, was a comprehensive definition of a man. All right, it's not. It's attributes. Harriet Tubman was masculine at one point. You understand what I'm saying? And so you're telling me that we've allowed an adjective to define what it means to be a man. One adjective. Women don't do that. Women never have let culture define them. They rebel. Like we were talking earlier, that the saying was a woman's place was in the kitchen. You rebelled against that and proved that that's a big lie. For men, we say, no, you're only masculine, and we don't rebel against that. And so my whole thing, when you think of Black masculinity, so you're saying, because the word itself, the definition means attributes traditionally ascribed to men, such as strength, boldness, and aggression. So you're saying so you're not saying Black masculine like Black manhood. What we're saying is the attack on Black aggression, strength, and boldness. All right. So we're not talking about manhood. So are you seeing a state of men being more milksop? Men who lack courage? Absolutely. Men who are very passive and passive aggressive? Absolutely. And that's because they don't understand truly what it means to be a man. They only understand what it means to be masculine or non-masculine. And so that's my take on the whole thing. And the key thing is that, so this is what's interesting. When we say these things like this, and I get what they're saying, because you see it, and then I see it firsthand, not like it is an attack, but I see when there's not a man in a boy's life. I see the anger, I see the frustration, I see the passivity. And so we help that by supporting maybe a single mom in that area, allow her to operate in her dominant gift, which is nurturing and teaching, more so than the disciplinarian side with a boy. And so we have mothers that'll cry and say, thank you, I can be mom again. Now, when we go and look at men on social media, yeah, we don't want our sons to grow up being passive, because you can't survive. You have to be courageous, you have to be strong. However, if you're not a nurturer, that's a problem as well. So here it is, when Kobe Bryant and Gianna, his daughter, and it was 9 in total who died in the helicopter crash. Am I correct?
You're correct.
And so when we started seeing pictures surface online, it wasn't majority Kobe being dominant on the basketball court. It was him nurturing his daughters. And then eventually the hashtag girl dad went viral with over almost 2 million posts with this hashtag. Of what? Was it of men fighting? Was it of men being bold? Was it of men acting in masculine attributes? No, they were being nurturers. Girl dad, hugging their daughters, showing the other side of what it means to be a warrior, be a
Now,
man.
if I may interrupt you there, which I
Please.
agree with you, is that
Mm,
that was a great social media phenomenon. However,
mm,
I think
mhm,
most men are comfortable being nurturers with their girls.
mhm.
Why do they not seem as comfortable being nurturers with their sons?
We're not programmed that way. We're not. If like with my daughter, it was crazy. I was a nurturer, but I was harder on my daughter than my own son.
Mhm.
There's even saying in the Black community that we raise our daughters but baby our boys. So that goes, it's like kind of hand in hand. But I get what you're saying, sis, because it's safe. Your daughter is never going to push you back and say you soft. Your daughter's gonna say, "Oh, you weak. Why you acting soft right now, dog?" So you ain't gotta hear that from your daughter. You will never hear that. So it's a safe space. So a man is like, "Whoa, wait a minute. He may have tried that one day. Oh, he's soft. You hear that one time as a man, you're done." Even my wife, when I first started breaking free from emotional incarceration, she said one day, and I never forget this. We was in a Kroger parking lot, and she says to me, I never met a man so emotional in my life. That's what she said to me in the car. And so, at that moment, I was like, you know what? And you never will ever again. I'm done with that. So I said, and I'm like, so, and this is the thing. As men, we have to stop doing what's best for us with the intent that it will please others. And what I mean by that is, as soon as our wives or women in our lives or anyone, we expect to encourage or say, do that, or we don't feel that, or whatever. I don't care about that. I need you to take care of this. We're going to stop improving what's best for us. I made in that moment, I said in that moment, like, you will never see that. And then I thought, I don't want to go back to that cell. I do not want to go back to emotional incarceration because I'm a terrible man. I lack patience. I have unresolved anger, and I can't live that way. So I made a decision for myself to become comprehensive. Men want to be nurturers. We are nurturers, okay? The problem is that we have to start fighting for ourselves. And another thing, men to say, well, what if she used my vulnerability against me? You've been blessed, brother, because you know now she's the wrong woman. Get her away from you and find a woman who's mature enough and who desires to know her man for who he really is than just this facade of him having it all together. That's another reason men don't really go after their heart's desire, the woman that they long for, because on social media they got the suits on, they got everything together. But your husband probably say, you can't hide the depression, you can't hide the anxiety, you can't hide the anger, the fear, and all that once you're married. We're in the same house now. That's a man's greatest fear. That, man, what if she knows this is who I really am? The key thing is she needs to know that before you propose to her. Before she says, I will marry you. You need to let her know this is who I am. This is my struggle. This is my trauma. This is my past. When a man can get to that place, now a woman can say, this is my struggle. This is my trauma. This is my past. And now they both can heal. And like I always say, my wife and I, we got it together. And at one point, she made more money than me. It was fine. I was still the man of the house. She still trusted my leadership. Yes, we had arguments, and as most couples do, but it didn't affect me. I wasn't intimidated. I knew who I was as a man, and now I'm finally to the place, Jemele, where my wife can unload on me. And so when you're only a masculine male, you don't have the capacity for anything that's emotionally heavy because it's making you tap into other emotions. For you to deal with that situation, you have to be a nurturer. You have to be compassionate. You have to be patient. Those aren't masculine attributes. Again, masculinity is not a definition of manhood. Those are attributes needed. Those are human attributes. My mother had to deal with teachers who wanted to put me on medication. She didn't go in there passively. She went in there asserting her viewpoint and was very adamant that they treat me a certain way. That was
So,
masculine energy.
so one thing that I noticed too that is very different, even I think very much different from the time that we grew up, is that
Mm-hmm.
today showing love and respect and care for a woman is
Mm-hmm.
considered bad. And like they call them what? Simps, right? And so I don't know if you're aware of the other group out of Detroit, New Era Detroit. The
Oh
brothers that are
yeah.
going around, right? The
Mm-hmm.
brothers, they
Mm-hmm.
go around, they protect women, of all ages. They go to, gas stations, they patrol the neighborhoods, they're taking care of their community, and
Mm-hmm.
they focus on women because women are obviously very vulnerable in a city like Detroit because of the rate of violence and crime. And the the organizers behind the group, they posted something, and he said, yeah, he said, despite the pushback that we're getting from some black men, I was like, wait, other black men are critical of this? And I just asked the question. I was like, why would black men be critical of black men protecting their own neighborhoods? And it was like at least almost 100 comments from people who were saying, well, someone might be doing a crime. But one thing that really stuck out was that, oh, they think they're simps because they're protecting women. Where does that come from? How did we get to the point of where if you champion a woman or show respect for women, or if you stick up for a woman when there's nothing in it for you, that is somehow looked at as being not a good masculine trait?
Again, we got to look at our culture. That's all they see. They don't see men protecting, loving women publicly, being affectionate, holding their hands, watching them, walking them to the car. So when you have a culture for, just say, over a decade, call call women out their names. We have misogynistic music, almost every culture now. So I understand. I mean, when you first said it, I'm like, whoa. But when I thought about it, I understand why they would call them simps, even though it's utterly ridiculous. You know, you want to protect your women in your community, period. No matter what it takes, you want to make sure they're safe. But you're talking about a younger generation of men. Okay. I can't see a grown man my age saying you a simp for protecting a woman. If you're talking about a child or someone with an adolescent mindset that may be in his 20s, he's going to say that. Because he, first and foremost, he probably don't have a healthy relationship in his own home with his mother and father. He doesn't see his father caring for his mother in such a way where he says, I'm supposed to protect her. If all the music calling that woman bees and hoes and you ain't nothing slap them and you can I can hit it, you can hit it and all this other stuff. If that's all they see, they're being programmed to be that way, to think that way. The same thing when we talk about, why can't men stretch outside of just masculine attributes? That's all we're promoted to be. And we're condemned, seemingly at the wrong time when we decide to express a different emotion. And then men say, I'm a vow, I would never let a woman in that part of my heart again. And so you're talking about, if we did a survey of the men who said that, I would like to see the demographics, the income ratio and all these other things, what music you listen to, what type of movies you like. And I guarantee you, it's all one kind of person.